Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna see my favorite eyeshadow palettes for the month of March. I decided to do a separate eyeshadow palette video because if I were to include these favorites in my general favorites video, that video will be 2 hours long. Not sure if this will be the same pattern going forward, but I just happened to encounter several eyeshadow palettes this month. With that said, we'll get into my favorites, my thoughts about them, and if you want to roll into that info, then please keep on watching. Thank you so much for stopping by. If it's your first time here, my name is Alicia. Thank you so much for coming. Kinky Sweat represents my kinky hair and sweat life. I am a fitness professional who loves beauty. All my movement adventures can be found on Instagram. If you want to check out my class schedule, workshop, or pop-up event info, all that can be found on my website. So many eyeshadow palettes this month. Eyeshadow palettes and bronzers, I feel, are my most favorite makeup items of life. I could have edited more, but why? Just talk about all the eyeshadow palettes. I'll go by order of purchase, and I have all these eyeshadow palette reviews on my channel. I will post the card for each respective eyeshadow palette going forward in this video, as well as the links for those videos down below in the description box. The first eyeshadow palette that I purchased for my favorites, I think this might be my favorite out of the bunch, not because of quality or because of brand, but it was just the one that I least expected to love as much as I do, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury The Icon eyeshadow palette. Look at those eyes. I didn't know I was gonna love this eyeshadow palette as much as I did and use it as much as I do. Initially, I went in already thinking I was gonna like it because I really liked her Stars in Her Eyes, Stars in Your Eyes eyeshadow palette. That formula had mattes, shimmers, and some of her topper sparkly shades. This palette has, I don't know what formula this is. It's not a matte, it's like a satin type of finish. This is inside the palette and it's divided by row, or I should say column. Each row is like a day eye, date eye, diva eye, and disco eye. She designed it so it was very user friendly. There was instruction for the user. Charlotte took the thinking out of it and basically outlined the shadows that you should put where. So it was very helpful in that respect. I love these shades. They go on matte, but they are so smooth and creamy. The way these shadows blend into the skin, look like skin, and they're just foolproof to blend. I feel if you have trouble blending in matte shades, you will not have problems with these. The texture is just amazing. Even when swatching them in the pan, the powder is just so incredibly smooth, and the colors themselves are outrageously beautiful. I feel you could apply these on their own, and one of the comments was, well, few of them, which were valid observations, is that when you combine a lot of these shades together, they end up all looking the same. I managed to film myself applying the Day Eye Smoke shade, which is this wine-colored matte here, matte satin. Matte all over my crease, lid, and lower lash line, and applying that shade on its own made it appear distinctly burgundy. When you start combining all these shades together, I understand that they start looking all the same because they are similar tones in terms of orange and wine, bronze and gold, so I totally get it. But when you apply these on their own, you can see they are distinctly either wine or distinctly like terracotta. Even here on the swatches, this is definitely more red than the, I think this is the Diva Eye Smoke. Yes, this is considered the Diva Smoke. This all over the lid, beautiful. So I'm, spoiler alert, Pat McGrath's mini is a part of this talk. But I wanted to quickly swatch Paradiso next to the Diva Smoke. See, Paradiso has a little more body to it. It's a little more brown. I know they're both brown, but I just love either Paradiso or Charlotte's Diva Smoke color all over my crease and lid, and it is just the most beautiful thing. I actually have the Diva Smoke in my crease with some other shadows that I'll talk about later in this video. I was really shocked by how much I love the Icon. I just love using it. It's great for travel. It's thin, it's lightweight. It has a snap closure, so you don't have to worry about it opening in your makeup bag because it's not magnetic. It has a great size mirror, edge to edge. I think great for applying not only your eyeshadow, but your whole face as well. And if you wanted to have a little fun, she has the blues and the greens in here that are equally I feel really nice as well. So there's the blue shade and there's the green shade. They have great shine, great color saturation to them. They look rich on the lids or wherever you wish to put them on your eyes. Another way I like to use the shadow palette, which I did on my look today, I have Le Sin on my lid. Then I went in with this shade. This is the Day Number 2 Enhanced shade. A lot of these shades have some glitz to them that I feel are ideal to use as toppers for. So look at that beautiful shine. Beautiful texture. You could apply these with your fingers, with your favorite brush, whether it be synthetic or natural hair or both. They're just so easy to use. So I went in with the shade on my finger and I pat it down on Le Sin, and it just gave it a little more brightness and sparkle, and also just enhances the longevity of the shadows. Whenever you're layering color, it just ensures that the shadow will last longer because there's just more color to fade throughout the day. I love to use this gold shade as a topper. That's really fun to put on like your favorite gold metallic. I love this on the inner corner. That's what I have on the inner corner today. If you wanted to enhance your lower lash line, or you put this shade on your brow bone arch, perfect. I can't tell you how multifunctional this palette is and how user friendly it is. And again, because the textures of these like satin mattes, that's what I'm gonna call them going forward, they're just so easy to blend. They just blend into your skin. They really do. They have beautiful glide. No matter what brush I use, they are just so easy to manipulate and they don't blend away. I will say you could get away with blending these on a non-set lid. Today I used the Too Faced Multi-Use Concealer in Natural Beige. If you have the P. Louise, you can use that. If you have the Fenty Beauty or whatever favorite concealer or primer you like to use, you don't have to set it, because these I feel work better on an unset lid for the primer. If you powder it down, you'll get color, but I feel it won't blend into the skin as nicely as it does on the unset surface. You could experiment with that and let me know what you think down below if you have already. But these textures, they're foolproof. I'm telling you, if you're scared about Charlotte Tilbury shadows, do you feel like the quads are too expensive to just spend on 4 eyeshadows, or you feel this is too much of the same, you could use this in a myriad of ways that the looks won't appear all the same. I think anyway, I could create a number of looks with that palette. And again, it was a palette that I did not expect to love as much as I do. I enjoy using it. I just know no matter what brush or what shadow I dip into, I will not have any issues with this application. It's gonna blend well. It's gonna have shine. The one con, because I have to mention this, I feel out of all the brands that I've used in this video that I'm going to present to you, Charlotte Tilbury doesn't have the best staying power. I do find if I don't layer a lot of her metallic shimmer shades well enough, that they do fade throughout the day, like after the 5-hour mark. And I also feel the same with the matte. Not as much as the shimmer and the metallic shades, but I do feel the shine starts to die down or kind of disappear and fade after the 5-hour mark. I don't encounter that with Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. So I just wanted to present that observation to you. Let me know if you experience the same. I definitely experience a lot more fading in her Stars in Your Eyes palette. Although I really like that palette, I love the quality and the performance, but overall from what I've used from Charlotte Tilbury, I haven't used all of her quads, so Michelle Wong will be great, or even Mel to visit, because I think they have a lot more quads than I do, and you could probably check those reviews out and they could probably provide a little more insight on those products. But from what I've used from Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow wise, I'm not super impressed with the staying power. You know, because when you use Pat McGrath, and those shadows stay, especially the glitzy ones, they stay way after 5 hours. So there you go. But because I know that, I know to layer these shadows well, layer them effectively, not so that they look muddy or just textured, especially when you're layering metallics and shimmers on your lid. I make sure to wet the brush. I just pat down with my finger lightly to enhance the color and to really lock down the longevity, and I'm good. All in all, love the icon. Very happy that I purchased it, and I will continue using it. I don't remember the next one if I bought this first before. I bought so many eyeshadow palettes, oh my god. I could just look at my videos and see the order for my uploads, but I'm lazy. So you know what, I'm just gonna go in with this one next. Here is the Riviera palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I wanted to include this palette because despite it being a very colorful palette, I think it's also very user-friendly in terms of neutral looks. Because you still have Palm, Cabana, Coastline, you can still stay within that peachy brown realm. If you want to dive into the more bold colors, you have Bahamas, Monte Carlo, Cannes, Seychelles. The one thing you gotta look after is that Bahamas stains. She stains. There was no burning, no signs of irritation, no itchiness, but this stains for like a day and a half after you take this off. I use my Sephora makeup remover for waterproof formulas. She's still stained. She's still on my lids. And it's cool because I usually use a concealer to block out my unevenness on the lids anyway. But the next day after Bahamas, I definitely have to rely on my concealer to start from scratch and create that canvas because if I don't, you will still see Bahamas under any eyeshadow I apply on my lids. I absolutely love these metallics. I think they have great shine, they have great color to them, and they're really easy to use. You could use these on your lid. I love to use them on my lower lash line, and you pretty much have a metallic to a matte. Not the same color, but Seychelles you could apply with Coastline or even Cannes. Or you could apply Yacht, of course, with Cabana Estate or Coastline. Palermo and Bahamas together forever. I mean, that's an easy pairing. Seaside with Cannes, Mediterranean. Seaside and Mediterranean are like underdog colors in here. I feel they are so pretty. They have a lot of dimension. They're like duochrome in nature. I love putting these on my lower lash line, even on my lid. I have a 5-look video using this palette. If you want to check out the looks I did with this palette, then head on over after this video. Anastasia doesn't make my favorite matte formula, but it's good. You get the color on there, the blend is fine. These are very soft, so when you punch in your brush, you're gonna get a lot of kickback, but the blend is gonna be nice, so you don't have to worry about not getting a smooth blend. Bahamas is a great swatch, but again, because it is so pigmented, it's gonna stain your skin. So again, just be wary of that. Palm has great depth. You can add Palm to any of these mattes. I usually like to keep them exclusively their color and then use Palm with the other more neutral shades in here. But I think I used Palm with Cannes at one point. I don't remember, but you could use Palm to deepen that purple matte. Inheritance is gorgeous. I'll put up a photo that I did, I think the day after I filmed my review for this palette. I loved the look I created. And again, I need to use this more because I just get distracted by all the other shadow palettes that I use. But look at Inheritance. It's such a pretty, shiny color. And Yacht. Yacht is such a beautiful bronze that I feel you could just apply on your lid. You could even buff this into your lid and your crease. I experimented in my 5-look video just applying Seychelles, Seaside, and Mediterranean all over my crease and lid, and they blended out beautifully. These metallics have really nice movement. They're not going to just stay on one spot on your eye, so you can manipulate them as you like, and you don't have to use them with the matte, whether in this palette or from another palette. If you want it, again, you could buff that all over your lid, and that'll be your single eyeshadow look for the day. I love the arrangement of colors in here. I enjoy it immensely. I loved using this palette, and I still have to do my 3-look series with Anastasia Beverly Hills. I know. You know, after I finished my Pat McGrath series, I realized after the fact it was such a daunting task. I loved doing it. It really spurred up my own creativity, and it was so great to see all of your responsive being so positive and helping you spur your own creativity and dipping back into palettes you already own. So I will definitely do it with ABH because I think I might have all, let me see, starting from Modern Renaissance. It's a lot of palettes to go through, and when I think about the work that needs to be done and my lids, it delays me a little bit, but I still will do it. I have not forgotten about that task. It is on the agenda. I don't know when it will happen, but it will happen. Probably won't do it with a Riviera because I already did 5 looks with this palette, so... Or maybe not. Maybe I'll be crazy and just do 3 more new looks using this palette because it's possible. You never know. With this and Sultry might have been my favorites from ABH thus far that I enjoyed the most using. I think this is number one for me over Sultry, because Sultry is a beautiful palette, but it's all neutrals despite the colors being gorgeous. I mean, it's like a really great palette for every day. I will definitely dip back into this. I just have to keep it on standby because if I don't see it, I'll forget to use it, as most of us probably go through the same makeup collection addiction problem that we have. Again, love the color story, love the quality, great buy, happy I bought this, and again will continue to use. Oh, this is a great favorite for the month of March, the Color Raine Safari Raine eyeshadow palette. I have Clay under the lash line with Tigress also on the lash line. These colors are just outstandingly earthy. They just have so much body to them. You could create a myriad of looks using these 9 shadows. The metallics in here are sickening. Look at Toucan. Look at Toucan. Look at that shine. Lioness, I nearly died when I swatched this in the video. Look at that shine. It is, oh my god, like the reflectivity, the brilliance of these metallics, melted metallics, is simply outrageous. I mean, even now, I know how beautiful these shadows are. I just still can't get over it. Oh my god, I got lioness all over. It's still on my finger. Isn't that nuts? Like, oh my goodness, just put it all over me. Color Raine is perhaps one of my most favorite eyeshadow formulas. I love their Queen of Hearts palette, and some of you had mentioned that you recently bought palettes from Color Raine and have been enjoying them. I am so happy to hear that. These mattes are outstanding. They have such great color payoff. They are very easy to use. Congo Basin is nuts. I love that shade. Clay, I love that it's orange, but it has like this earthiness to it that I feel you could get away with as an everyday smoky transition color. I know it's orange, but it's, I don't know, when you pair it with any of these metallics, it just looks beautiful on the lid. And if you deepen it with Matriarch is such a beautiful, deep, neutral brown. Oh my goodness. You could apply this with Congo Basin to deepen Congo Basin to even deepen Jungle. Jungle is insane. I can't stand it. This is such a beautiful matte. Ugh. And when you pair it with Green Valley, I have the Green Valley on. What video did I have that on? Oh, it was my empties video. I put on Congo Basin and I applied Green Valley on the center of my lid. You know, when you have an olive like that, you know what? I wouldn't even call this olive. It's just a little brighter than olive. The shine on that is amazing and it's so beautifully smooth, easy to apply on the lid. You can't go wrong with this palette. You really can't. Quality is just through the roof, so easy to apply, so easy to combine. You can combine any of these shades, friend. I did a look that you guys went crazy over in my review video. I had Clay and Tigress on the lid and then I put Jungle on the lower lash line. Initially, if you see these colors, you wouldn't think to pair them together, but they looked so good together. I was shocked, and I'm gonna do that look again in the future for sure, but you can't go wrong with your combination of this palette. You can't go wrong. You could put any of these shades, whether it's matte or the metallic or the shimmers, on the lid, lower lash line, vice versa. The shine on these, incredible. The staying power, outrageously good. They're not gonna fade on you. They're gonna look shining on your lid all day. If you want a little more adherence, then yes, you apply it with your favorite setting spray. If you have hooded lids, I know some of you rely on a glitter glue just to have that stick for the shimmers and the metallics so it doesn't transfer to the crease. I think this has to be one of Colored Raine's best palettes thus far. I love her 6 pans. Cheers to Beauty I haven't used it much yet. Queen of Hearts and Safari Raine, top notch for Colored Raine. Absolutely. If you are on the fence about trying Colored Raine, I would get this. You have to get this. This is so beautiful and I feel goes great with a lot of skin tones. Matriarch will be a great deepening shade. I just saw Nima Tang's video on bronzers, which is it's eye-opening. I'm always careful when I say this will be great for deeper skin tones because some shades that I think are great for deeper skin tones might not be the case. Let me know down below if you're around Nima's skin tone, if you have Safari Raine, how Matriarch looks on you. The metallics for sure will show up on a deeper skin tone like Nima's. Absolutely. I freaking love Safari Raine. It is so beautiful. I can't say enough good things about it. The color story, the quality, the blendability, the performance is phenomenal, and I'm so happy that I have it in my collection, and again, will continue to use it. Oh, we're going into a little more expensive item. The Natasha Denona Barbecue. When Mel Thompson saw that comment that initially looks like barbecue, I mean, on a first glance, when you see it, you don't see the eye because the font is very thin. It kind of looks like barbecue. These could be all the sauces involved in barbecue. This palette should be called Put the Sauce on the Side. This is a very expensive palette, and a lot of you had mentioned that you don't feel it necessary to spend $129 on neutral color eyeshadow. That price point is more appropriate for a palette that might be like a Pat McGrath palette that has different finishes, different sparkles, that have the glitzy shades and seem a little more special to you in terms of those textures. I totally get it. I'm a fan of the Natasha Denona eyeshadow formula, and Michelle once said this in her video: you can never have enough blue jeans, you can never have enough shoes or what have you. In my case, I can never have enough leggings. And in the same boat, you can never have enough neutrals. I couldn't pass up Natasha Denona's version of neutral. Natasha Denona's formula for neutral eyeshadows. That's where I stand on it. If you feel this is not worth the buy because the price point is too high, totally get it. In the end of the day, sure, on a photograph and on a video, would you be able to tell if I use a Natasha Denona eyeshadow formula over Charlotte's, over a Morphe shadow, over an Urban Decay shadow, Colourpop? Probably not. It all comes down to your experience and using an eyeshadow that's just going to hold it down in terms of performance and longevity on your eyes. In general, despite the name being neutral, I think overall this is a very warm palette, sans the last roll, of course. A lot of you have mentioned to me that despite Natasha saying all 15 new shades, Cocoa does exist in the Tropic palette that I don't have. Kelsey Brianna J. If I ever said Jai, I'm so sorry, because we have a yoga studio here in New York that's called House of Jai and is spelled the same exact way she spells J. Hi, Kelsey! If I ever said that, I apologize. It was not intentional because people say my name wrong all the time, and I would hate it if I said her name wrong. So Kelsey Brianna J said that the cocoa in here and the cocoa in the Tropic palette were slightly different. I don't know, maybe Natasha lied and she forgot that cocoa was indeed in the Tropic palette, and when she said 15 new shades for neutral, she failed to mention that maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's only 14 new shades. The shade that blew me away in terms of me loving it as much as I do is Tor. Tor is like this smoky gray. It's a cream to powder formula that's exclusive to Natasha Denona. This shade all over my crease and lid, it is so pretty. It's gray, but it has like a little bit of brown in it. I think she describes it to be like a gray brown. Oh my god, so pretty. I just love how smoky it looks, but it's smoky good for the day. If you love smoky eyes for the day and you find that you can't use black because it's just gonna be too much, too intense, if you just do Tor all over the lid and the crease, lower lash line, so good. And I love that she made Spot cream to powder as well, because I feel the cream to powder formula is easier to deal with than a pressed creamy matte. Her creamy mattes are phenomenal to blend with. They perform beautifully well. I mean, there's no problem there. I do feel the cream to powder just has a little more forgiving in terms of application. If you feel you get skipping when you apply mattes or it drags, these will not. These will glide beautifully across the skin. They will not drag, they will not skip. The application, the finish will be smooth, diffused, and gorgeous. Spot on Tour, give me a break. I did like 6 looks with this palette. I went a little overboard. I couldn't help myself. I just need to dive in. Rayon is so beautiful too. It's another cream to matte. Oh my god. All over the lid. Can't take it. I used Prairie to buff out the Diva Smoke shade from Charlotte's Icon palette, and then I went in with Cocoa to deepen the outer corners as well as the inner on the lids. I love it, and I get the price point is outrageous. Like, you don't have to buy it. I'm happy that I bought it, and I am thrilled that it is in my collection, without a doubt. Is it necessary? No. But did I want it? Yes! And that's pretty much the equation for all my makeup purchases. So, and again, with the darker skin tone conversation, if you did end up purchasing it, let us know how it's been going, if the shades do show up or if they don't show up. We could definitely take a look at those observations down below. But for me, am very happy that I bought this palette. I think it is just gorgeous, easy to use. I know it's a lot of shades at once, but you can just create so many looks from it, ranging from day, midday, tea time, nighttime, event, whatever. You can't go wrong with Biba barbecue. Next palette up. Oh, we went from really expensive to inexpensive. I present to you the Colourpop Sweet Talk Pressed Powder Palette. This is another one that you initially see it online and you're like, one look palette. That's it. Here's the thing. You have 3 specially textured shadows. You have the pressed glitters, which are newly premiered with this palette from Colourpop. And newly premiered also is a Super Shock eyeshadow formula that normally is only packaged in the single pots, the plastic screw-off pots. Never have we seen it in a palette. I also did like a 5-look video. Was it 5 or 4 looks? 3 looks? I forgot. And I am so responsible for not mentioning this, but because Mel is more responsible than I am, she does have 4 kids. I don't have any kids, I just have Maddie. Even though these are self-adhering glitters, just be careful. Anytime you put glitter near your eyes, you could risk cutting your eyeballs off and them dying. Just proceed with caution when it comes to pressed glitters. Again, even though they're a lot more self-adhering than if you were to apply like a loose glitter to a glitter glue, and they're a lot easier to apply in that respect. Just be careful, please. Don't cut your eyeballs. Thank you very much for listening. I freaking love this palette. That's just it. I love the peachy tones in here. I love how they show up on the lid. And I forgot to mention also in that video that Pantone announced coral being the color of the year, and this palette was very much inspired by that announcement, by that fact. Feel free, this deep wine shade, get out of here. Work it, this beautiful like light brown shade, stop it. West Side, come on. So pretty. I love these shades, and the glitter, I love the glitter. I gotta say, I really love it. I am careful. I make sure that I am careful. I have it under here on top of Tigress. I have Early Morning on top of Tigress under my lash line. This is Prima Drama. Like, look at that shine. That is insane shine, and I feel they look so beautiful on the lid. This in particular like reflects green as well. It's really hard to see on camera, but there's so much dimension in here, so much shine. I'll apply Early Morning again next to Prima Drama. Early Morning is a little finer in texture. Prima Drama has bigger glitter pieces in it, which might make it a little more dangerous. I love applying Early Morning on my lower lash line, whether it's center or inner third. It is like the best. The shine on these are incredible, and I just love how easy they are to apply. If you love glitter but you just hate the process, especially when dealing with a loose glitter, then yeah, it could be a little cumbersome. You gotta get the glitter glue, you gotta make sure you use it with the brush that you will like don't love as much, because glitter glue left on bristles is like the worst. And then you have to make sure you don't spill the glitter on the rest of your face. Don't worry about this. I found that I didn't have issues with the glitter falling out, but if you overload or put too much, you could run into that issue. Applied reasonably, I think you should be okay. This is such a great palette, and I know initially it appears as just like a one-hit wonder in terms of looks you can do with it. If you want it to be more peachy or more pink or more mustardy or more plummy or more wine, you could really adjust the colors in terms of how you combine them and create those different color stories with this one palette. I know the Super Shock shadow didn't look really impressive, but I just love that you could use this as a topper shade. If I were to just quickly show you on the lids now with the shadow I have on. So this is where I just applied it, and this is where I don't have it. And you can see the difference in terms of what the Super Shock eyeshadow makes, because it's so easy to add that gleam and sparkle without any use of glitter glue or what have you. And you just use your fingers. Fingers are the best tools in dealing with Super Shock formulas from Colourpop by far. See how fun that made it? Look how shiny that is now. So freaking easy. I can't take it. You could apply that to the inner corner if you wanted to make it more spotlighty shiny. See? Easy peasy. Very happy I have this palette. I have been using it interchangeably with Barbecue, Icon, Colored Raine, Safari Raine. So good. Let me know down below if you have Sweet Talk from Colourpop. Let me know how you've been enjoying it, because I know I have. Ooh, what's next? What's next? The last of the palettes for the month of March. Now, don't get mad at me, but I had to show this, okay? Please. Pat McGrath's Eye Ecstasy Mini Kit. I failed to mention that this kit is exclusive to Sephora. I tend to forget very important information when filming review videos, I guess. I don't know if it's going to be exclusive to Sephora just for a period of time, but it appears that it's just going to be so going forward. I don't think Pat will have this on her website. This is a kit that came with not only the 6-pan eyeshadow palette, but a mini crystallized loose powder pigment and a mini Fetish Eyes mascara. $48 for the whole kit, so it is expensive if you're just wanting it for the eyeshadow palette. You only get 1 gram of product per pan. It's very small, and since I'm home, I didn't have the opportunity to do this. If you're interested in still, this is one of her 6-pan minis. I present to you Bronze Ambition. So this is what we're looking at in terms of size comparison. The Bronze Ambition 6-pan is significantly larger than the mini, and we're talking 2 grams of product in the 6-pan versus 1 gram in the mini. Yeah, before I go further into my thoughts, now we could definitely do some comparison swatches. So I'll quickly take Paradiso from her Eye Ecstasy Kit. We got Paradiso there. Let's go in with Throwing Shade from Bronze Ambition. Oh, Paradiso appears like a little more red, don't you think? And Bronze Ambition appears like more actual brown. We have Enrapture from her Bronze Seduction palette. So that's next to Throwing Shade. Oh, that like appears a little more tan, and Paradiso's still a little more red. And from her Bronze Temptation, I'm going to dip into Burning Desire. So let's see how that looks. Oh, that looks very light compared to Paradiso. Oh yeah, you could probably apply this as a transition shade and then Paradiso on the inner and outer inner thirds. So again, we have Paradiso from Eye Ecstasy, Burning Desire from Bronze Ambition, Entrapment. Hold on. Entrapment. And then Burning Desire from Bronze Temptation. So I know they look similar in shade, but I think Paradiso ends up being a little more red tone brown than the others. And I mentioned this in my original review video that I appreciate Paradiso remaining that rich red-brown color when blending and applying, and not it deepening into like a darker brown, which is what I feel Throwing Shade does a little bit of. The rest, maybe not so much. I think Entrapment stays true to the shade as well as Burning Desire when you apply and buff into the crease. But I gotta say, I love this palette for travel, and I love that it's Pat's formula and it did not change in this different packaging. Yes, it's not as, nearly not as luxurious as one of her motherships. You're looking at black lacquer, mirrored back, beveled mirror. You know, we get the cardboard palette. It's fine. I'd rather travel with this than bring this along. This is heavy. This is like a weapon. I will feel a lot better traveling with this than I would with her big mothership palettes. Amnesia and Les Sin are just gorgeous. I have Les Sin on my lid. I mean, these shades are incredibly gorgeous. And again, $48, very expensive to just buy these shades for. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you end up getting the Eye Ecstasy Kit. I went through all of this in, again, my original review video. This is really for the consumer who is intimidated by Pat McGrath products. They didn't feel comfortable splurging that amount of money. They felt that her formula was too intimidating to use. The sparkly shades, again, I'll crack into Bronze Seduction. These sparkly astral shades that I feel are, I think they are absolutely phenomenal, man. You can't go wrong with these shades. Like, look. You know what, since we're already here, I'm just gonna put Fire Opal on my lid. I don't care. I don't care if I have like 3 things on my lid. You know why? When you open Fire Opal, you just can't ignore her. Look at that. It just changed my lid color altogether, but I really don't care. That's how beautiful it is. Look how Look how beautiful my lid looks. And even though it has a green shift, it just matches up well with whatever you have under. Thank goodness for this Anastasia brush. I'm just gonna whip away some of that color from the crease. But look how gorgeous that is. I can't take it. And Astral Luna Gold, if I were to take my pinky and just pop it on the center of, look, that's what I'm saying. These shades are so easy to use, and I get it if you like Alicia. I don't care. I don't want to spend $125 on one palette. Leave me alone. The loose pigment is basically these, but these are pressed, and that pigment is obviously loose. But it's just so, listen, if it's a pat eyeshadow, I'm buying it. That's the bottom line, okay? I'm buying it. I don't care if I have all her palettes. I really don't. Because this curation is just bomb for me. Le Sin and Amnesia, I feel are worth the $48. That's insane. I'm sorry for saying it, but that's how I feel. And Liquid Sin, stop it. The formula did not change. There was no sacrifices made on the formula, in the formula, for the formula. Hello, grammar. Sacrifices made on the packaging, absolutely. And that's why I say, if you've never tried Pat, but you heard great things about her formula and you want to experience that, you will not be disappointed with these metallics. They blend so beautifully well, smoothly. You can manipulate them, you can buff them into the crease. They don't look sheer, they don't do weird things. They'll just flow with your brush and just do what you ask them to do. You could apply these on your lid as well and just have it as a standout lid color, a lower lash line color, or you just bring it around from crease to lower lash line to lid and just have it a single color eye look. Amnesia all over, so easy. I could use this palette for a whole week or more. Combinations are endless, and the shades, the way that they are, the colors and tones that they are, this makes for that to happen. So it's a splurge, but it's a good splurge, I feel. I know the kit in itself is like, do I really want the mascara? Do I really want the loose pigment? Again, this was really not for the already Pat McGrath fan, but the person who was looking to buy Pat McGrath but couldn't make the decision because of the price, the packaging, the formula were all too intimidating. This is your opportunity to try Pat McGrath. I don't think you would be disappointed. I think you will love all the products in the kit. The eyeshadow formula, again, is consistent throughout all her big motherships, throughout her mini 6-pan eyeshadow palettes. You will love the formula. Let me know down below if you managed to pick up her Eye Ecstasy Kit and you haven't used Pat McGrath before, what you think of the mattes, the metallics, and this like satin matte, another type of satin matte thing going on like in Charlotte's Icon palette. And I love how small it is because I could then pack more than one eyeshadow palette if I'm limited in terms of room space in my makeup bag. I could take this along with the Colourpop palette because they're both fairly thin and they won't take up as much room as, like, let's say this. I would say the Color Raine palette, because of its square size, it might be a little trickier to fit in a conventional makeup bag, but if it's like a pro one, I think you could get away with it. I could combine this with Charlotte's palette. Although Charlotte has like a similar shade in here. I already did the Paradiso and Diva Smoke comparison, but let me compare this black with Dark Matter from Pat. So this is from Icon and this is from Eye Ecstasy. I think Eye Ecstasy is just a little more pigmented. They look very similar, but I feel Pat's has a little more body to it. It has a little more body. It's a little thicker in consistency than Charlotte's black. This is the Day in Hand shade from Charlotte's palette, and this is Le Sin from Pat's palette. So I like to put this over Le Sin because I think it's such a nice combination. I've been loving my palette purchases for March because I can use them all together. I found a way to use all those palettes on my eyeshadow lid look today. I'll put all those details down below as well as what I have on the rest of my face, and that's why I wanted to make a separate video for my eyeshadow favorites for March, because all these palettes that I mentioned just knocked it out of the park for me. I've been loving each and every one with them on their own for their own purpose. They all serve a role in terms of me wanting a certain type of formula, finish, color story, what have you. I just been thoroughly enjoying each and every one of them, and I get excited when I crack into them. I get excited when I I know I'm gonna use Natasha's palette. I get excited when I'm gonna use the Riviera, and I'm gonna use Safari Raine, Eye Ecstasy, Sweet Talk, Icon. I get excited for all these palettes, and I've been enjoying them in their own way. Like, I love them individually for what they have to offer. Again, their color story, their performance, and I think they've just been outstanding in terms of all those credentials. So let me know down below what your favorite eyeshadow palettes have been for the month of March. I will definitely come at you with a favorite general March video, which we will delve into different products, skincare, hair care, maybe a little bit of clothes, who knows, and take it from there. And that, my friends, is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. If you like this video, please give this one a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another chit chat, favorites, get ready with me, review, or tutorial. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Charlotte took the thinking out of I think it's, oh, and again, great, my sweatpants are now go, but it's all good. It's a good color to be in. I'm sorry. Inner and outer inner thirds. Inner. Not that I would hit anyone with it, because I don't want to ruin my shadows. I cannot get over Fire Opal. So many swatches.